on the street, in the water, or at the track. If you drive it, we can fuel it.
Jeff Turk rolls to the starting line, going to be first out. Bob Tasca. Now, Jeff Turk has been in the sevens, but it was in another sanctioning body that is not NHRA. Bob Tasca doesn't care about that at all. Tasca off the starting line first, starts turning the tires. Jeff Turk drives on 5 black turds. We'll see later. 8:13, 169. That's an 8:13.7 at 169. Gets the win. Number 2 in the world a year ago. The first full-year championship of Samtech Factory Stock Showdown out of Monroe Township, New Jersey. The Gasco family putting this together. Bell won the first race of the season with Mike Stanfield power. Stephen Bell, third in the points. He's got a shot. Let's see what happens. Gasco, look at that wheel stand, riding those rear tires all the way out and giving Stephen Bell a race. Stephen Bell takes the win. 8:17.9 at 164 by 1/10 of a second, but Pete Gasco Jr. was on the hind legs all the way down the first 200 feet of the racetrack. That was just spectacular. Leah, Pritchett, Aaron Stanfield. Leah on the left, El Bandito coming out of the DSR shop just a couple miles away. Kevin Halbs, the crew chief. The number 1 qualifier. This could be the 7-second run. Aaron Stanfield on the right, son of Greg Stanfield and Stanfield Racing Engines. He is looking pretty strong throughout qualifying. An 18, a 14, and a 12. Going to need to get some on the starting line. Been outrun by just about 1/10 of 1 second by Leah. Leah first to stage. Aaron goes in. Aaron Stanfield leads by about 100 of a second. The Camaro is out on El Bandito, but here comes that Mopar power, and it's going to be Leah Pritchett. 8.111 at 170 miles per hour. What a matchup. Joe Welch, right side, the car that ran in the sevens. That had the time disallowed. Has also won the last 2 races. Going up against Mark Powick out of Akron, Ohio, the Cowboy, former Pro Stock racer, number 2 qualifier. The other of the DSR cars. And he ran the tune-up race in NMCA a week ago. It's going to be a great matchup. Tire spin for Mark Powick, Joe Welch. 0.16 for Anderson Tire Powick, 8.1, and Joe Welch, an 8.149, 163. And the Cowboy turned the tires. Chris Holbrook, Scott Lisher. Scott on the right, Wilmington, Illinois. Chris Holbrook out of Livonia, Michigan. Engine builder, Varsity Ford. Was up close and personal with this car a little bit earlier today, right on top of it. It is gorgeous. Love the scheme. Love the layout. Number 3 qualifier ran 8:09, 167. Lisher, 8:15. So you got a Mustang, you got a Camaro. Ford people, get on your feet. Chevy people, they're already up. A red light start for Scott Lisher. Fouls away his chances to win the Samtech Factory Stock Showdown at the Big Go. 8:22.3, 166.89. This is a big run right here. Alan Johnson of Alan and Roy Johnson, former Mellow Yellow Pro Stock World Champion Johnsons. 2015 Challenger, J&J Racing left side, qualified 4th with an 8:10. Going up against Archie Coon. Archie on the right-hand side got his first win of the season in Samtech Factory Stock Showdown a little bit earlier, sits 2nd in the point standings. Archie Coon riding those rear tires. He has got the lead, but here comes that Mopar. He's shown a lot of power on the top end, but Archie Coon is able to take the win. 29th thou with an 0.15 reaction time. Left first, got there first. David Barton and Leonard Leibischer. Leonard on the left side. David, champion series a year ago, but to this point has yet to win a race. And will not win a race. Rolls the beam. David Barton started to bring it up. The car creeped in the stage beam. And Leonard Leibischer is moving on with an 826.1 at 164.87. Heartbreak for David Barton. It has been just a very challenging season for that team. They make the power. They know what they're doing. They won it all last year. Sometimes things don't go your way. Guys in bunches in 2018. And this is our final pair. Samtech Factory Stock Showdown cars. The supercharged factory cars. Everybody loves them so much. Each of the past couple of years, we've expanded the season. We've expanded the field. People are loving them. And if you're way down the track, how awesome is the sound of those superchargers? Randy Rampage Taylor. Gray Racing. Artesia, New Mexico. Ray Westall, Steve Johns on the tune-up. Qualified 13th. Kevin Skinner on the right. The classic Ford versus Chevrolet matchup. Skinner, Grove City, Ohio. Columbus Joint and Clutch. Number 5 qualifier. Final pass. Let's just listen to the sweet sounds. Kevin Skinner, 8:15 with an 8, 165.99. Moving on to Monday. And the Samtech Factory Stock Showdown, Randy Rampage Taylor, 8:22.3. Skinner left first. And the Camaro could not run down the Mustang. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Keep them clapping for the Samtech Factory Stock Showdown teams. The winners have advanced. They are going on to Monday at the Big Go.
So for those of you following along in the Samtech Factory Stock Showdown, you may be a bit surprised to see Mark Powick rolling up here for this round. Overnight, after the first round of eliminations, there was a detailed tech inspection performed. The car that defeated Mark Powick was found to have had a technical violation. Therefore, Mark Powick has been reinstated into the field. That car has been disallowed, and we continue on with the eliminator now. Powick from Akron, Ohio, the Impacto Equipment Corporation 2015 Challenger drag pack with a supercharged 354 cubic inch Gen 3 Hemi. And Len Leibischer out of Wilmington, Illinois. The Copo Parts Direct supercharged 350 cubic inch LSX style engine in the nose of the 2015 Camaro. Mark Powick's car is very fast. He was the number 2 qualifier. He had waded his way through the field, and he is now going to face down one of the faster Copo Camaros in the country with Len Leibischer's car. Leibischer now pre-staged. Powick now fully staged, and a red light start for Leibischer, and Powick smokes the tires. Oh, Len Leibischer will have a year to think about that one, as he is 15 thousandths early, and Mark Powick will go to the next round after blazing the tires on the starting line. It is a very interesting class. It is as much outlaw style or drag radial dedicated racing goes on around the country. This is NHRA's really kind of a radial based class. Almost every car in this class will have a radial style rear tire, and they are heavy, 3,500 plus pounds, 1,500 plus horsepower, and the power is going through effectively a 275 radial tire, or if you really want to do it, a 9-inch slick. Now, we saw the results of trying to apply that horsepower too quickly as Mark Powick blew the tire off. Now it's Jeff Turk and Archie Coon coming up. Coon from Richmond, Texas, and Jeff Turk from Yorkville, Illinois. The Blackbird coming up now. Huge wheel stand for Archie Coon and a giant starting line advantage. But does the Copo have enough horsepower to stop the charge of Jeff Turk? It does. 8:16 beats an 8:13. Archie Coon bought himself a round victory with lightning quick reflexes on the starting line. An 0.29 life for Coon got him out of the gate first. Turk was 70, and Turk did have the quicker car, but Archie Coon with a running head start got to the finish line first. The next pair coming up now will be Kevin Skinner in the Mustang Cobra Jet out of Grove City, Ohio, the Columbus Joint and Clutch sponsored machine, and Leah Pritchett from Danville, Indiana. The El Bandito 2015 Challenger drag pack is coming in hot here on the Ray Skillman side. Pre-staged and pre-staged. as is the case here, Kevin Skinner needs to be ahead by a significant amount in the 8th mile. These Dodgers run the back half like they'll win. Didn't do himself any favors on the starting line as Leah Pritchett eliminated her top field guard, concentrating her efforts on the drag pack. Goes 8:07.7 in these conditions at 170 miles an hour. Just great training down the big end of the racetrack. 9:409 at 107.61 miles per hour. Kevin Skinner outrun, and Leah Pritchett is going to the semifinal round to face either Steve Bell in a Mustang, or a Steve Bell in a Copo Camaro, or Chris Holbrook in a Mustang Cobra Jet. Both smoke the tires. They both smoke the tires again. They're pedaling down the racetrack. Chris Holbrook tried to regain control at 330 feet, and Stephen Bell goes 882.5 at 162.78 miles an hour. That was ugly, but a win light is never ugly, and Stephen Bell will advance to the semifinal round to attempt to stop the freight train of Leah Pritchett in the El Bandito drag pack.
Samtec semifinals. Arthur Cohn on the left side, Mark Powick on the right side. Mark Powick absolutely got away with one last round, and he'll tell you the same thing because he smoked the tires, but there was a red light in the other lane that let him come back and play some more. The former pro stock racer in the Don Schumacher fielded drag pack, and Archie Cohn out of Texas in the Camaro. Both of them clean this time. Archie hikes the front end, and his car hooked the left. Is that going to leave the door open enough for Mark Powick to make an Indy final? Yes, it is. 8:23, 167 miles an hour. And the Cowboy, whose first final round came here in Supergas years ago, is going to have another crack at it, this time in the Factory Stock Showdown. And will he race his teammate? That's Leah Pritchett. Mark and Leah were the 1 and 2 qualifiers. And Stephen Bell, he's got a couple of wins under his belt in this series in his red Chevrolet. The car dealer out of Louisiana, the top fuel driver from right here in Indy. And it's tire spin for Stephen Bell. Leah will have another crack at Indy. She'll have to beat her teammate to do it. 8:11. Oh, that's showing off. 169 miles an hour on a hot racetrack. Well, Kevin Helms, you've already won the race. Take the rest of the day off. Let your drivers figure it out. Stephen Bell spun on the starting line, goes 8:59 at 166 miles an hour.
This is an all-Dodge affair. A pair of Challenger drag packs with 354 cubic inch Gen 3 heavies, blown with Whipple superchargers, line up side by side. Mark Powick returned to the sport of drag racing with Don Schumacher Racing this year to drive this car. Leah has been driving the El Bandito car now for a couple of seasons. It was last year that they really caught the wind of how to run this thing the right way, how to be competitive with it, and how to bring the heat. This is a DSR team win any way you slice it. Both cars run from that corp. Impaco Equipment Corporation, the business Mark Powick runs that allows him to go drag racing here with the drag pack. Leah Pritchett, obviously a professional drag racer, going to square off against a man who for many years raced professionally in the pro stock ranks and who has certainly picked the knack up a lot quicker, or I should say very quickly, like he never left the seat. The Cowboy versus El Bandito. Pick your side, pick your poison, and pick your Hemi, because one of these is going to the winner's circle. In goes Mark Powick, and in goes Leah Pritchett. This ain't a match race. This is for the final round victory here at the Chevrolet Performance U.S. Nationals. Mark Powick trying to lean on Leah's car. Powick a little smoke at the end, and Leah Pritchett collects the Samtec Factory Stock Showdown victory in the El Bandito Challenger Drag Pack. 8:10 with an 170 miles per hour for Leah Pritchett.
Samtec Factory Stock Showdown. This is the car. They call it Bandito, El Bandito. This is the driver, Miss Leah Pritchett, getting the job done. Get loud, get crazy. Leah Pritchett, you have just won Indy.
Are we going to Disneyland yet? I mean,
You tell me. You tell me.
I woke up this morning thinking there are two incredibly solid shots of winning the U.S. Nationals today. For one, obviously in the top fuel car, but two, this Mopar factory stock team for Don Schumacher has been so incredible. Just tally it up. We have been low of every round of qualifying, of eliminations of the U.S. Nationals. I get to drive this car and I get to work with incredible people, none of which are right here. They're all back because my guy that I ran in the other lane, a little guy named Mark Pock,
Cowboy.
The cowboy. I ran him in the final. We doubled, it doesn't get any better for Don Schumacher. To create this team with Mopar, really what we're trying to do is work with Dodge, work with Mopar, and get those OEs back. This is Detroit at its very best. And hands down, we're trying to develop the fastest cars and factory in the world, and I think that we're doing a pretty good job of it so that you guys can do the same thing too. So I'm honored. I haven't been down this road before with Sportsman, but I want to thank absolutely everybody, not only Mopar, Dodge, E3 Spark Plugs, the Hoonigans, but my fuel team was out here. I had Todd and Scott line me up because I'm splitting crewmen with my other crew, so I felt a little bit at home. I want to give big thanks to them, Don Schumacher, and all the fans that have stuck with me all weekend long. I know I've been all over the place. So thank you very much, and this will forever go down as my very first U.S. Nationals win, so thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Samtech Factory Stock Showdown, one of the coolest categories in all of drag racing. The Indy win belongs to Leah Pritchett.